like even now I get goosebumps thinking about like the history of Ellis Park, the rivalry. South Africa is a different beast. I don't know what you put in your drink bottles over there before the test matches. Don't know if it's legal, man.
They call it biltong with droewors. Kia ora, Ruckers. We back home. This is your #1 rugby podcast. You know who it is. It's the one and only JDJ in the house. Is next to me is the one and the only. It is Rudy.
Let's
Page.
go. It's Paige in the house. Another massive episode.
Massive.
All Black Springboks rivalry week. The houses are divided.
Yes.
The families are divided. Oh, everybody's got opinion.
Yeah, it's a kamasi kora. So time, eh? Here we go. Okay.
DJ Perenara smacking that back again.
Ooh. Can't wait. Hey, Ellis Park is waiting. It's waiting. And then a DHL Stadium is waiting.
Buddy, nothing gets better. I know we spoke about Island rivalry and this beef, but All Black Springboks, there's nothing better in the world than this rivalry.
Exactly.
And luckily at this current moment, we are up.
We up.
The Bokkers,
Okay.
our tails are like this.
Yes, okay.
We're buffering. I don't know what the right English word is.
The buffering, we're loading.
Our tails are waffering.
We're pending, eh? It's the rematch of the Rugby World Cup final. And I can't wait. But before we get there, how are you doing, first of all?
Partner, obviously,
are you okay?
I think I've recovered from my jet lag.
Are you? Okay.
I'm still watching every video clip of Dricus du Plessis on my phone, reliving those moments. So I'm not gone off the novelty as yet, Ruckers. But good.
Perfontein,
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
I'm good as well, okay? Obviously got back, okay? Not so much jet lag, okay? The business Qatar Airways is obviously, you know, when you come with the business class, they give you a lekker relaxed.
He just wants to name drop his business class.
Yeah, and then I was straight back into it. We had a camp as well, Boland Under 21 camp. It was all good for a couple of days because we're going a couple more weeks and then we're into the competition. So exciting times coming up, but very excited for this episode.
Massive episode, partner.
And before we get the ball rolling, okay, guys, Behind the Ruck is powered and supported by Super Sport Bet, the one, the only. Okay, guys, they are the official betting sponsor of the Carling Curry Cup, guys. Go check it out. If you're a sport fan, okay, go check it out. Switch to Super Sport Bet.
Love it, partner.
Get your stuff, okay? It's very important. And then Old School, so strap it up, okay? Our paddle sponsor, Old School. That's a nice top.
I like it.
I know you're a messy type of guy. Can you keep it clean?
I kept it clean for a while now, so I think wife is quite happy with me, buddy. Okay?
They're going to go buy any chuck or something.
Chucking like glass. That's one in a while.
But get the rule and straight up.
Partner lineup is going to look like this because we had Tony Brown on last week.
Yes.
The lineup will be like a play of the line out. We're going to come around the corner. First up will be these two guys having our intro. Okay, then we're going to come around the corner with the forwards. Physical, even Etzbeth targeting Damian McKenzie. And that will be Lima Sopoaga, our main guest, main peanut in this packet this week on Behind the Ruck. Lima Sopoaga, ex-All Black and current Samoa International flyer. Big deal. I'm telling you guys, big deal. Okay? And then to finish in the corner, Kurtley Arons and Cheslin Corby's running down the touchline will be our take on the massive rivalry, the Springboks versus All Blacks. There's a lot of stuff that happened in South Africa. Guys getting new jobs. All things South African rugby at the end of this episode. Now sit back, relax, and have yourself a brilliant time at Behind the Ruck. I can't wait. Let's go. Let's go.
Great lineup. Very disappointed. Okay.
What's wrong?
Finishing in the corner, Johan de Jong. What is my name?
Partner, your time is up. Okay? Like in the game, you know when you used to play game at the arcade? Your time is up, boy. That's nieuwe man.
You guys, it is. And it's Lima Sapoaga.
Yes, it's brilliant. Obviously, your friends.
Ex-teammate of mine, yeah. Yes. I'm excited to see what he's going to say, especially when it comes to this massive clash, there's a rivalry against the All Blacks and the Springboks coming this weekend.
I think from a Rucker's point of view, we couldn't get anyone better.
Yes.
He's won a Super Rugby. He's played for the All Blacks. He's a flyer. We understand what goes into this massive game. So from a sorting out point of view, again,
we know how to.
Gewenks.
Tirakas.
And they spoiled. They are spoiled. They're going to start complaining about that. So we're spoiling them.
And then they send us emails. Then they send us emails. What is it? Rakas, you guys behave, okay? It's time to like, share, and subscribe at all times, okay? And Fantastic. Make sure that you send Tony Brown on to the people so they can know what's happening. Okay, he's a gem now. He's a South African. He's a gem. He's in our eyes.
Yes.
Our hands now.
He's one of us. He's a South African. So always,
Yeah.
that episode must go to 50, 60,000 views. And we must go to 20,000 subscribers. Everybody got to do their part. The two of us, we're working extremely hard. And you guys got to do your part during the week.
Yes.
As share, as like, as only good comments.
As quick
No
maths.
ugly stuff. We don't do ugly here.
No ugly, okay? Naughty corner.
corner.
Seatbelt for her, okay?
Oh, jinx.
2 plus 2 is 4 quick maths. Hey, skitty bang bang boom. Yeah,
Buddy.
partner. Huh? Is it Sapoanganga
He's
time?
waiting for us.
Huh?
It's a
Sopsy.
late night for him.
Okay, yeah.
He's waiting for us.
Yes, yes, yeah. Fair point, okay? Up next, Lima Sopoaga. Choo choo. All the Usos, all the Manas, all the Tokos, the one and the only. We got Lima Sapoaga in the house, aka Sopsy. Sopsy, what's popping, boy? Are you good?
Oh, Juan, what an intro, man. Love to see you.
Good to see you, man.
You're something special, aren't you? You are special.
I was thinking, brother, where are you first of all?
Oh, I'm in Japan, bro. You know, pre-season. You know how that goes. It's just groundhog every day.
Lima, just for our ruckers and our viewers, we want to make sure that they know how much effort you are putting into being on the show. Quickly give the time what you're right now in Japan. What's the time now?
Yes.
It's 11:30 p.m.
Sure.
It's actually Juan's fault why we're so late.
Hey, don't go there.
What did he do? Did he mess up again?
Hey, guys. Offline. This is offline stuff, okay? Sopsy. How's pre-season going, first of all? You know, when you're in a 30 club, it's a bit tough, the lower back and the hamstrings. How's things going, especially coming, where were you now? Were you coming from France, eh?
Yeah, I come from France, moved to Japan, but I've had a good break, you know, like that's the beauty of being in Japan. My season finished May 2nd and I arrived in Japan last week, so I've had a good holiday, John.
That is a lot of time, to mess up, partner.
To mess up, to put on the skill folds.
To put on some weight. There is too much time off. I don't know how the boys are doing it. That's in Japan. That's too much discipline, Gypsy.
Yeah, that's why I didn't go to Japan.
No weight that you picked up, Lima? Nothing? All good? Conditioning?
Oh, no, I've picked up a little bit of weight, you know what I mean? So I'm on that walk bike every day, doing a few extras, having to walk to training, you know, keep the steps up.
Yeah.
10,000 steps a day, plus training. So,
yeah, you got to be physical.
It was a good break.
Physical in that first fight channel, eh? Physical, eh? And you were in New Zealand now for holiday with family.
Yeah, I was in New Zealand, so it was good. It was good to be back. Good to see family. Good to hang out and just be back in New Zealand for a good amount of time. And yeah, it was good. But you know, you've got to pay the toll now. Got to pay the fee, man, for my holiday.
Oh, and the kids need to eat. That's what I always tell my wife, Gypsy. The kids need to eat. The main thing is the main thing, okay? And Lima, quickly, home. Where's home for you? Is it New Zealand? Is it Samoa? Where's family home for you?
Yeah, New Zealand. New Zealand. So, Wellington and my wife's from Hamilton. So, between those two cities.
Okay, cool, yeah. And while we're talking about New Zealand and South Africa, it's a couple of tough weeks coming up.
It's Derby week.
It's Derby week, eh? The rivalry is on the next level. Sopsy, what's the feeling like, especially when you were in New Zealand, you know, leading up, you know, the Argentina, you guys played, New Zealand, the All Blacks have played Argentina, and obviously moving into the Springboks now. What was the vibe of, especially in New Zealand, before you went to Japan?
Yeah, it was, I think, you know, obviously, before the boys went to Japan, there was a bit of a shock with, you know, the All Blacks losing a coach as well.
Oh, yes.
You know, so that probably has affected the All Blacks a little bit. But I think after the good win in Auckland, they're going to South Africa with some confidence, but you know, South Africa is a different beast. I don't know what you put in your drink bottles over there before the test matches, but I don't know if it's legal, man. No. Some of you guys come out like superhumans.
They call it biltong droë wors.
But don't get sucked into Lima at the moment. I'm getting there's a lot of compliments and things the New Zealand boys are throwing at us this week. How good the Springboks are and how tough we are to play in South Africa. But if we take Ellis Park, they have a better record than us in the last 5 to 6 years.
To be fair, yeah.
You understand? So we mustn't let all all these compliments we're feeling ourselves.
Yeah.
They've had a great record so far at Ellis Park. The last 6 games have only won once, and that was in 2014.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's pretty interesting. That's an interesting stat.
They call him Google. Okay? They call him Google. So after this quickly, Ellis Park. If I'm not mistaken, you've made your debut at Ellis Park. You know, your first start.
Yes.
And
Yes.
what was the experience like when it comes to especially Springboks versus the All Blacks? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That when I think back to that match, I just like even now I get goosebumps thinking about like the history of Ellis Park, the rivalry, and just the atmosphere and the pressure, but also like the joy and the love from like the South African people, not just towards their own team, but towards us as well, and like the mutual respect that I think both nations have towards each other. As rugby nations is pretty special, but yeah, definitely going into the stadium on the bus and like just seeing a sea of green and you know, like people throwing stuff at the bus on the way.
Nice.
And just
Sorry.
Like,
Menace, man.
you know, like I'm sitting there like looking out the window and like there's like apples thrown at the bus. I'm like, whoa. And you know, like you got little kids and they're like going like this to you and like, you know, but it's all good. It's all in good good banter, you know, it's all like lighthearted, but it's a very special place to play. And you know, the All Blacks love going there. We know how hard it is, but it's a magnificent place to play rugby and to experience.
And while you say that he made his debut there, part, I want to ask him, what does we know when we go to New Zealand, what we as a player go through. What is the All Black players going through this week, Lima? What, in your shoes, your history, what are they going through currently preparing for this massive test match between these two rivals?
Oh, we just know that we just have to go to another level physically. We know that, you know, Ellis Park's at altitude as well, so we've got to get the oxygen in the lungs and be ready, because we might be in the game for, you know, 60 and we could be ahead, but we know that South Africa's got something special in that last 20, so we know we need to go like a full 80, you know, 85 minutes to try and get a win. But I think the biggest thing heading into a test in South Africa is the physical battle and what that will bring. There's nothing. I don't think there's anything like playing the Springboks in South Africa physically.
Jeez, mix.
Yeah, and even like with the current situation when it comes to the All Blacks, losing the coach, I mean, just before they came over to South Africa, that first of all, they didn't get a good result. They were struggling a little bit against England and then didn't got a good result against Argentina. What do you think the mindset is like? Which games do they target? Are they going to play the first full team and trying to win the first one, or the one in Cape Town?
I think both teams, just both of them, you know, like they don't try win one, lose the other. They're both going to win both, you know, because if you win one each, it's kind of like a draw.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no one wants that.
you know, like, so if you win two, you're like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, both are going to go for the head, you know, and they're going to battle it out for 80 minutes and they're going to go hard and they're going to try and take each other out. But, you know, afterwards they'll shake each other's hands and they'll have a beer and share a laugh, and, you know, and that's the beautiful nature of All Blacks and South Africa rugby.
And Lima, before we go to the performance this week, I quickly want to, is there something specifically in your time with the All Blacks that you guys did to acclimatize to altitude? If you can remember, is there something you guys maybe came out early, had to blow off a bit of steam with fitness? What did you guys do to make sure that gave you guys this best option to play at altitude?
We always came definitely like a week early, maybe even 10 days. And then it was just all about, in those first couple of days, it's all about like sleep, making sure we have like good movement in our body. Like we were never like going too crazy early on in the week in terms of exerting our our fitness, and then as the week got on, we just kind of tried to build up slowly and surely. But it's it all comes down to a lot of that, you know, nutrition, all that science-based stuff, sleeping, making sure, because obviously it's also with the time difference, you know, like when you get there, you're real tired at like 4 o'clock, and so it's like no naps kind of thing, and try and go to sleep at 10 o'clock. You know how it is when you travel to New Zealand.
Or go to Monte Casino. You know? What?
Yeah.
I didn't say it. I apologize.
Or go to Monte and lose all your money.
But partner, this weekend, guys, we obviously, from a performance point of view, we're sitting with the last game, the Boks and the All Blacks played each other, 1 point difference, World Cup final. Where obviously the All Blacks lost Sammy Kane early, where it could have been obviously a much different game, with 15 versus 15. So I think obviously, as much as ex-All Black players currently are applauding the Springboks and saying we're the #1 team in the world, I don't think there's a lot in between this game. I know Leon McDonald leaving might be a bit of disruption, but it can also cause them to come closer.
Yes.
So what are we seeing? What are we seeing from a performance point of view happening this weekend?
I think I hope we see a big game from both teams. I think it'll be very physical, like I said. I think early on, both teams will probably try and feel each other out, you know, maybe play a little bit conservative. And then as the game wears on, I think you might see two contrasting styles, you know, like the Boks are traditionally like very physical, set-piece dominant, where the All Blacks tend to throw the ball around a bit more and try and run around your bigger pack. So I think as the game gets on, we might see both teams sort of head towards traditionally what they're good at.
And what have you seen with Springbok rugby as well? There's a difference to our Springbok rugby now. We got one of your old coaches, Tony Brown, in our camp now. Okay, we got the boy.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that.
I don't know if you've seen, we've changed it a little bit, and how we're playing, you know, moving the ball around and in all departments. What have you seen, and what do you think Tony brought to the bigger picture when it comes to Springboks?
Yeah, I think like Tony Brown is probably one of the most gifted coaches in terms of attack going around. So South Africa have an outstanding coach in him. He's one of my favourite coaches I've ever been coached by. His mind for the game and how he sees the game is phenomenal. And there's probably no better person on this planet who could probably come up with an attack strategy to beat the All Blacks than Tony Brown. And so this week, you probably will see maybe from South Africa, maybe 1 or 2 tricks up his sleeve and 1 or 2 tricks that maybe we haven't seen before. Because to beat the All Blacks, you've got to be brave, you know. You got to bring something else out. Yeah. And Tony Brown he's a master. He's an absolute master for unlocking attack and unlocking defenses, and probably the confidence that he gives towards players in terms of how to attack and how to play is second to none. And I think for the Springboks, we might see a few tricks up their sleeve this week, which I won't be surprised with.
Where Tony Brown last week?
Last week?
He didn't watch, hey?
He didn't watch.
And it's his favourite coach?
You guys must talk about your friendship, okay? You guys must sort out your friendship. Lima, I've got one question for especially the All Black and the New Zealanders. How did you let him slip through your fingers to come to Rassie and the Springboks? How did that happen? How could you guys allow it? Obviously, it's a win for us, but for New Zealand rugby, how did you guys allow that to happen?
Our currency is very strong. Eh?
Yeah, that rand is good, you know. and the power works really good in South Africa too, so I don't know. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. I think he just loves coaching, you know, and he's a special coach, and he probably just wanted a different challenge, and you know he's lived in South Africa before, you know, as well, and played Super Rugby in South Africa, so you
Stormers and the Sharks,
yeah, so that maybe plays a part of it too.
And Lima, we spoke about now South Africans or the Springboks. We're trying to play a bit more expensive rugby. But if we look at the All Blacks England inbound series, it looked to me like the All Blacks, from a kicking point of view, especially you as a driver of a team, from a kicking point of view, they found themselves in an in-between world where they weren't too sure what way they kick, how they kick, the way they exit. Do you think that's a concern coming into this game?
I think it's just that was kind of like the first time they've had their new coach, you know, and so it's maybe just a little bit of a feeling out period where they were just trying to identify what kind of rugby they want to play or who they are as a new group, because obviously it's new coaches, new group of players, you know, some have lost a lot of experience, etc. So I think it's just time, you know, a lot of time and an opportunity for the future. So there's always going to be, you know, little tweaks and things happening. So you can't really judge it too early, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe in 4 years' time when we go to Australia, if we're still kicking like that, then we're like...
Different story, yeah.
Yeah.
And when you played in your era, there was dogs everywhere. There was names everywhere. Do you think they've missed a little bit of senior players that actually left now, you know, missing Aaron Smith and Richie Mo'unga and all these boys, and these youngsters needs to come through for the next generation of evolution when it comes to the All Blacks?
Yeah, for sure. Like, you can't buy that experience, you know, like the guys they've lost, you know, Dane Coles, Brodie Retallick, Sam Whitelock, Aaron Smith, Richie Mo'unga. Like, we're going to lose some more this year in terms of TJ Perenara. Yeah, so you know, like it is interesting times for New Zealand. Like, I feel like we're probably in a rebuilding phase. You know, bringing in new young talent and trying to get experience at this test level. You know, it's pretty tough. Because at the test level, there's no hiding. So you have to get it right on the night straight away. And, you know, the public and media can be pretty unforgiving of, you know, failure or losses. So it's an interesting time.
It's always tough, especially nines. I know TJ is currently, luckily, still there for them to drive the ship. But after him, it's all young players, all guys
Cam
making
Roygaard
got the injury at the wrong time for the New Zealand boys. So it's interesting times, and I'm trying to figure out what does success look for them in the next 2 weeks. Is it getting one win? Is it being highly competitive in both games? Is it taking 2 wins on South African soil? What does success look like for the All Blacks coming to South Africa?
What is this? Yeah, the science.
Yeah, I think ideally they will be like most teams. You know, South Africa and New Zealand will be striving for 2 wins, right? But if you take one and one, I think that you can give that a pass. You can give that, you know, like a big tick. But 0 from 2 in South Africa, I don't think that is looked at as, you know, as any good or very good. Like, but yeah, I think 1-1 is a pass. And if they take 2, I think that's a massive boost for the team and a boost of confidence for them going forward over the next couple of years.
Yeah. And like, especially New Zealand rugby, when it comes to us, we can pick overseas players. What's your thoughts on when it comes to overseas players, especially you as well? Because when you called it the day you went to WASP and then All Black rugby is done.
Yeah.
What do you think? Will that help the All Blacks moving forward? Like, it kind of
change it.
Yeah, to change it up a little bit and move the All Blacks forward.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's a hard one for New Zealand because of, I think, where rugby is and Super Rugby. Like, losing South Africa to Super Rugby, I think that really hurt New Zealand and South Africa. I mean, New Zealand and Australia. Because, like, if you look at your model, like, you guys get to play in Europe now, and then the URC, and then you're playing in the Rugby Championship. Yeah. So you're actually playing the whole world. Like, throughout the whole, you know, like, through the whole year. So you're playing, like, every single style of rugby possible. And I think that really benefits South Africa. So, anyways, back to what we were actually talking about. But yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm not really too sure where it all goes in terms of eligibility.
I'm going to come in, Lima. I think the same we said with England when we had Jackie Willis on, when I said, I can't see why they wouldn't do it. Because you get a club to pay your player that you don't have to have the financial commitment for, and you get the talent to play for your national country. So it looks like a win-win from a national body. From, let's say, we take South African rugby, you get the Montpelliers, you get the Leicester Tigers to pay the salaries of the players, but they can still come and play for the country. So the actual company, the body, doesn't have a financial loss. We just have gains, actually. And you get to blunt a lot of youth what you put into that URC teams. So the development rate is way quicker. But that's just my point of view.
Yeah. No, I think you have a great point. And like, I think I would like to see New Zealand implement some sort of eligibility, or maybe it's like, okay, guys who have played like 50 tests or 60 tests, you can leave and we'll pick you still. Or I don't know. I think it has to be something. I think New Zealand has to try and keep up with the times, you know, like I think it also helps New Zealand rugby because players get to play in different environments, you know, like get to come to Japan and play with different players who are, you know, South African or whatever. So their rugby mind starts to broaden a lot. And I think that's really important. But I would love to see New Zealand implement some sort of overseas eligibility criteria so that players can get picked from overseas. I think that would help the All Blacks.
Yeah, that'd be dangerous, Parry, eh? If they can select from all the boys leaving.
We need strength versus strength, actually. And if you look at, like you said now, we're playing all the countries, so we're playing the world, and it does weaken them a little bit because they only play the rugby championship, and then...
We currently like going to a Michelin star restaurant. We get starters, mains, and we get desserts. The whole, we get everything, okay?
Take. That's take.
I mean, even Australian rugby is struggling a little bit. And that's why France is coming through and Ireland is coming through, because they test themselves against, you know, the Springboks and especially in the URC as well. So it's very interesting how the rugby environment works.
Yeah, it's obviously it's turned upside down now with us leaving, unfortunately. So that's the reality. But boys, before partner we go to Lima's life and who, I've got two questions. I'm going to ask you first, and then I'm going to go to Lima.
Interview me,
okay?
Man.
Yeah, I'm going to do it this way. All right. How do we beat the All Blacks Saturday? And secondly, I'm going to ask Lima the other way around. How do the All Blacks Saturday beat the Springboks?
For me, we got to be physical. So our DNA is physicality, so we got to overpower them. And we got to be very physical because we kind of know the All Blacks know what our DNA is, so they're going to be physical. So we got to overpower them, making sure that we dent them first, okay? Once we dent them first, it makes it easier to get up to the front wall and get them out wide. So a lot to take into account how the South Africans play these days. So we must stick to what we're proud of, and that's the physicality, and also what we've done against Ireland, you know, moving the ball around a little bit. Yeah,
yeah, that's a good point. Well, to be fair, we have to do exactly what John said. So we have to match the physicality, and then I think we have to be able to move the ball and try and, you know, run South Africa off their feet. I think that's how we try and beat South Africa. Because obviously, you know, like big humans, massive boys, but at some point, you know, the gas tank has got to go, you know, lower and lower and lower. But I think it comes down to probably us just taking our opportunities when we get them, because we might only get like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
We need to nail 3 of them. You know, like we can't just nail 1 out of 4.
And Lima, our team is out. The Springbok team is out. Okay, possibilities. We don't have Lila Roo. We've got Apelile Fassi at the back. We got Sasa Feinberg and Komazulu that's playing 10 this weekend. We don't have Andre Pollard. He's on the bench. Kobus Reinhardt is at 9. Jasper Wiese is back, obviously. We don't have Ibn Etzebeth, might not play as well. So there's a lot of changes. It's a different team that we used to when we played Ireland. Is this the opportunity for the All Blacks to say, okay, let's target this one. This is they're vulnerable at this moment because everyone thinks the Springboks is next level now, but there's a little bit of changes. Is there any one of these boys you can put pressure on and take this opportunity and making sure that you do put yourself in that position to do 2 from 2?
I'm not sure, I just think the depth in South Africa rugby is pretty unbelievable right now. So the guys who are out, it's just a production line over there at the moment. So you got other quality guys coming through.
Yes, but you're
so,
full of compliments today.
It's hard, it's hard because we're coming to you guys too. So, I back the boys to do a job and get a win over there, but it's gonna require an absolute top class performance, and maybe South Africa just are off 1 or 2%.
Yes, boys, and before we move on, I'm interested just to see how the All Blacks are going to handle the rush defense, because they don't see those pictures throughout the year. They don't see it in Super Rugby. They didn't see it against Argentina. So just to see how Damian McKenzie and them handle that rush defense of the Springboks.
And I want to ask Lima, actually, just from a first 5 point of view, the All Blacks, they've got Damian McKenzie at 10 now, and for years it was obviously Richie Mwanga and Bowden Barrett. Bowden is at 10 now. Thoughts on that with Damian McKenzie at 10? Obviously, he's a joueur, moving the ball around, expensive type of player. And also, the second question is, what's your thoughts on South Africa with Sasha Ngomazulu and Mani Lebok and that type of flavor when it comes to...
Different flavor,
because you used to, you're playing Mornay, Steyn, Andre Pollard, very tactical type of fly-offs. So what's your feel on both those first 5/8s?
Yeah, I like that type of style. Like, I think... Like, obviously, traditionally, South Africa has a very conservative sort of like style. Someone kicks goals and, does like the basics extremely well, puts the big pack into the right side of the field. But both those players that you mentioned, like, bring an excitement and something to the game that is like that you just can't teach. You can teach kids to manage a game or kick goals or, get a better kick. But what you can't do is teach what those 2 boys that you just mentioned can do. Some of the things that they do is just, stuff that you would do in the backyard, but they're doing it in test match footy. And, for those young boys coming through from South Africa who have that, like, beautiful natural ability, that raw talent, that, like, freakish skill set, there's probably no one better to learn the game of how to be a first 5/8 from than Tony Brown. So I think as time gets on, you're going to see those guys morph into something pretty special, because what they have naturally can't be taught, but what they get taught is gold. And I think you just got to give both those sets of first 5s time, time to develop. We always seem to want to see the finished product, like today, yesterday, next week. But it really is, to be a good first 5/8, it's time in the saddle, and you got to be allowed to make mistakes. And I know at test level, like, mistakes aren't allowed, but over this next 4-year period, you've got to allow these guys to win games, to lose games, to make mistakes, and sometimes they're going to be great and sometimes they're not going to be so great. And you just got to be able to live with that, because at the end of the day, everyone knows it's about winning World Cups, Obviously, we want to win tests in between, but most nations are gearing up for this next cycle, Who's going to be there in 27?
I'm pretty sure those 2 got inspired with that guy that kicked the ball over his head.
I wanted to ask, I cannot finish this conversation, partner, without talking about that kick. Who was the instigator? Who made the plan? How did the kick come about?
It was a bad pass from Aaron Smith. What happened there?
Bro, that's what I'm telling you. Like, you got no one better to teach those young boys from South Africa, like, to encourage their, like, skill set and things like that than Tony Brown. We went into a meeting on Monday and we were playing the Hurricanes. And he's like, their rush defense is too good. What do you think if you turn around and just kick it over your head. And I was like, why don't I just do a normal chip kick? And he's like, oh, because Corey Jane reads the signs too well. Like Corey Jane is like a freak in terms of like defensive reads. And so if I went to go to the line and just do like a normal chip kick, he would read it and cover it from the open wing because everybody came so hard as a rush defense.
They fly out the line.
Yeah, I thought he was joking on Monday. He was like, "No, I want you to catch the ball, turn around so they don't know what you're doing, and just pop it over your head." And I was like, "You're having a laugh." And he's like, "No, I'm dead serious, bro. We did it all week, bro. And like it never worked. Like I hit my head like 3 times. Like some of the kicks were going like straight up in the air, like going like way right, way left. And before the game, like it was raining, and I was like, I remember talking to Tony Brown. Oh, should we just take out the
can it?
Yeah,
can the kick? And he's like, no, just when you feel it, just go for it. And I was like, bro, did you not see me this week? I was horrific. And he's like, no, you got it. And I was like, okay, sweet. And then it ended up coming to a line out, and I actually called for a drive and a box kick. And then Waisaki Naholo just like looked at me. He was like, Mana, do the kick. And I was like, oh, shucks. I was like, oh, sweet. So I yelled out to Aaron Smith. I was like, bro, cancel. And he's looking at me like this, like his eyes.
What are you doing?
And I was like, and then I was just like, I just like nodded my head. I was just like, and then he's like, oh, shit, he's going to do the kick. And I just did it. But it's like,
that's powerful.
Like that's the kind of coach he is.
Jeez.
And Lima, the conversations in the sheds after the game, what was that like? Once you nailed the kick and it paid off, what was the banter like in the change room after the game?
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Like Brownie was like, "See, I told you it would work." And the boy. But I was more filthy that we didn't score a try off it. You know?
Yeah,
like,
it was so
like,
close. Yeah,
you useless.
A meter away.
I was telling Ben Smith, I was like, "Bro, do some more speed work." Like, that could have been my like greatest career highlight. You know, because he gets called by Corey Jane.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come on, man.
It was Osborne. I think it was Osborne or something that wing that went straight down there.
Yeah, in the corner too. Yeah. And like Dane Coles came across and got it. I was like, man. But it's all good.
And I missed that name. Waisaki Naholo. Waisaki Naholo.
Partner, it was, I don't know why you're missing it. It was absolute nightmares when you see him from a scrum and you know he's just going to take the ball up. So I don't know why you're missing him. I don't miss him. It was a lot of sweat running down my back when you see him lining up as first receiver.
That was his favorite play.
Really? I hated that play.
Yeah,
and we used to start it all the week and you just knew that he's going to come for me. They look at you and they're like, nope, he's short. Let me take him on.
Momentum there.
It's momentum. Lima, if we look at the team of you guys and obviously we look at your career, what was it like playing in that Highlanders team?
Yeah.
It was Aaron Smith 9. It was Lima Sopoaga at 10. It was Malachi Fiketua, Ben Smith, Waisaki Naholo. I mean, you guys had a superstar Highlanders team in a generational era, I think. I might be wrong, but I think the team you guys had was generational for the Highlanders. Talk us through it, playing that time for the Highlanders in that team,
especially
specific team.
2015 season,
Yeah, it was, bro, it was crazy, you know, like it was pretty cool. I remember in 2014, Tony Brown ended up coming and coaching us, and we made the playoffs for the first time in like 12 years, and we ended up going and playing the Sharks in Durban in the quarterfinal, and we ended up losing, but we gave it a good crack, you know, like almost tipped up the Sharks, but we just probably didn't believe that we were good enough to be there, you know. We were more just happy to be there. And then after that year, we kind of just decided, like, as a group, and I think the coaching staff too, and Jamie and the trainers and, you know, Brownie and the senior players, we were just like, no one really expects us to do anything good. So just, like, kind of wear it as a badge of honor, you know. Like, we're kind of like, in terms of like the Highlanders and who they are, like all the players that you mentioned, apart from Ben Smith, none of us are from Dunedin. Like we're all kind of like like the leftovers from from other
second and third
areas
choices.
of New Zealand that that didn't get picked up, and sort of like, like if you look at Malakai, for example, like he was at the Blues, come down to the Highlanders in 2014, became an All Black. Like look at like Waisaki, he was the same. Like was at the Blues, like didn't really play, in one game, out for 6. Like Aaron Smith, like, and look at the career he's had. Like Hurricanes didn't want him, Blues didn't want him, so we're always kind of like a licorice all sorts, like a couple of guys who like probably love surfing more than they loved rugby.
Sounds like the Lions rugby's to me.
Yeah, kind of like where you get guys, from all different parts of the country who probably, a third or fourth string, and we come down there and we just made the most of what we had. And the coaching there, they were able to, like, we probably weren't as talented as a lot of teams, but we were able to extract every bit of our talent out together. And I think that was probably our strength over those years when we went to playoffs and, ended up winning and things like that.
Yeah. And Lima's goals, obviously you played, when it comes to the All Blacks, you played in a golden era with all these celebrities, if I must say. What is and you've played in Premiership, you've played the top 40 in Japan, etc., and you went to the World Cup for Samoa. What is your plans now in terms of, you still want to play international rugby? You still want to go to another World Cup? What's your future plans?
Yeah, I'm just enjoying Japan at the moment. Like the rugby's, a lot easier on the body, so I feel like I could almost be like Jimmy Gopov, and play to
still going
and play like Jimmy, like. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Like I'd like to go to one more World Cup with Samoa, but that's kind of like sad what's going on with the union there and things like that. So we don't know what's going to happen there, but I'm still loving my rugby, and that's the main thing. And I get to be in another cool part of the world and experience a different culture and meet different people and try and learn a new language. And so for me, it's just enjoy what I have, and because like you boys know, like rugby doesn't go on forever, And
what's your thoughts on the tier 2s, the Pacific Island teams like Samoa and Tonga? That's not included into the Nations Cup, is it, in a couple of years?
It's a bit average, isn't it? Like I just want to see, like if you're not going to have a, obviously you're going to have a tier 1 and tier 2 comp, but I just want to see promotion relegation. Like so whoever comes last in that tier 1, like gets kicked down to the tier 2, and whoever comes first in the tier 2 should just come straight up. But they're not going to do promotion relegation for a while, I don't think, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
Like promotion relegation is interesting. Like I love promotion relegation.
Love it.
As long as my team's not the one getting relegated.
You don't know. You're the bottom of the lock and you were stressing.
I absolutely love it. I think that's why the top 14 is so entertaining, Lima. Because if every result matters, and that's what Super Rugby missed back in the day, I think. But let's not go back there. Yes, what a time to be alive. The kids will never know what it's like to play Super Rugby.
They'll never know the tours to South Africa, boys. They'll never know going to Camps Bay and
wow,
the ins and outs.
They'll never know what it's like on a Sunday in Camps Bay, bro.
Yeah.
My favorite place, Lima, was Queenstown.
Yes.
Queenstown, when you play the Highlanders and you fly out on a Sunday to Queenstown, nothing better. Ferg burger on a Sunday afternoon. I had a few beers at that ice bar across the street from the Crown Plaza. I didn't tell my wife about it, but it was fantastic.
Those are the days. Those are the glory days of touring, I reckon.
Yeah,
it was fantastic. And while we're talking about touring, Lima, if you're not retired by any, you still want to go to another World Cup. But if you look at your career, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about it? About where you've played All Blacks, the achievements you've had.
It's look, I'll take my career 10 times over, you know, like everyone would love to play 50 tests or 100 tests. And, you know, I probably at some point have thought about that, but I always wanted to use rugby to see the world, you know, and I left New Zealand using rugby as a tool to see the world and to meet new people and to see different cultures. And, you know, like I got to play with Juan and Billy at Wasp, you know, and I've got to play with like other dudes from France, like the Tolfi Whenua brothers in France, and come here to Japan and, you know, like get to play with my cousin Murph. And yeah, it has been pretty cool. And like, yeah, I wouldn't change my career for anything, you know. Maybe looking back as an older guy now, you know, I might have done things a little bit better as a youngster, you know, when the old guys always tell you that, you know, do your stretches and eat healthy and like all that stuff. You know, like I look back and I'm like, yeah, I should have listened to that. And like, you know, like now as an old guy, you're giving that information and you see these young guys and it's just like, oh, man, stuff this old guy. You know, like man, I don't need a stretch, you know, like you'll see these young kids coming, bro, they start like, you know, kicking goals from like 60 meters out, no warm up, but I'm out there like taking like 35 minutes to warm up, and I'm like, if I just, I took care of my body just a little bit better as a youngster, you know, when the old guy told me, you know, I wouldn't be like worrying about my back when I wake up in the morning and my knees and but nah, it's all good.
Talking about listening to the old boys, eh? You've lost your tee that you've got since 14 years old in the World Cup. Did you get it back?
No, I never got it back. Bloody Frenchies, eh?
Huh? The Frenchies? In South Africa, that would never happen. Okay?
Oh, bro.
In South Africa, they will never take something.
They would take
don't get this started,
Javon. My rugby bag. They would take it all in South Africa.
Nope, don't say it, Lima. Don't say it.
We'll get someone in there. Sobs, before we say goodbye, you're the season maker. We want to test him. We're going to test him a little bit. Okay, you got to pick one, and it's going to be quick. Okay, we're keeping it All Blacks. We're keeping it Springboks. Okay, and we're going to go old school a little bit. Okay. The first one, you got to pick between Brian Abana and Jonah Lomo. And
only one.
It's quick
you got to pick one.
It's quick fires. It's quick fires, mate.
Jonah.
Jonah.
Okay.
It's tough.
I'll give him the 11 jersey.
Yes.
Next up, Victor Matfield and Sam Whitelock. Now it gets trickier.
Victor.
Next one.
At the end. The next one.
For Reed play Aaron Smith.
Obvious.
Aaron Smith.
Aaron Smith, just because he played with him. He played with him a little bit. And then we got Skalkberger. Jerry Collins and Skalkberger. That's a tough one. Who's physical? Who's physical?
Jerry. I have to say
the respect.
Yes, that's a tough one.
Yeah. John de Villiers, Manonu.
Oh,
Manonu. He's got to keep it.
Yeah,
they're watching.
I'm not. Who would you go for? Quickly. You select one.
It is a tough one.
One. You got to pick one.
It was a handful.
No.
Yeah, when I played with
Agree.
I struggled a bit. And then Kevin Mulamu, John Smith.
Oh, that's a good one too.
I'm going to sleep nice tonight.
You can stay loyal.
Oh, Kevin, eh?
Kevin.
Yeah.
Oh, Kevin, but he was a legend. We'll give it to him. Eh?
He's still looking fantastic. I don't know how he does it.
But I think this one will come to South Africa. Okay, Dwayne Vermeulen and Kieran Reid.
Oh, yeah, Dwayne Vermeulen.
Yeah, it's coming to South Africa.
He was scary. I didn't like seeing him off the back of the scrum.
No, he's a machine. He's a monster.
I'll never forget that clip. You guys played at Newlands where he chucked Nuggie next to the touchline. Oh my gosh! I watched that game in Pretoria. I was like, oh, that's not nice.
They don't call him Thor for nothing.
I was on the field and I was just laughing at him.
It must have been a clip the Monday morning at video session, right?
On YouTube.
Was it on the board?
On repeat. It was just like going around.
Yeah, but listen, it's just the last one before we were old school. Let's give him one for new school. Okay, we want to know, is it Siya Kolisi or Ari Savia? Nee. The Uso.
One is back-to-back World Cup captain. The other one is World Rugby Player of the Year.
They're playing in the loose forwards.
And we probably will be sending this clip to the one that you not select.
I Ari.
Okay.
Ari.
Sia, this clip is coming to you.
Sia, look at him,
Lima
okay?
selecting Ari, okay?
No invites for him, okay?
Yeah.
Sopsy, mate, thank you very much for making the time, and especially at a late time.
Yeah, it's past 12
It's
now in
almost
Japan.
the next day.
It is the next day.
Thank you very much for making the time. I mean, you've been awesome, and I've been honored, playing with you at my time at Wasp as well. You've been incredible when it came to the All Blacks, sinking us a couple of times at Ellis Park and Albany.
Why are you pointing at me? I was
Albany.
When I got onto the field, it was already 40. So, don't point at me for the Albany game. That's not fair. Yes, see. Sopsy, he's pointing at me in studio here at Albany.
I'm pointing to the camera.
Yes, see.
Sopsy, thank you for making the time, man. We really appreciate it, man. All the best that side. And hopefully you can add some more international caps on that Sapoaga name.
Yeah, all the best for the Samoan journey and Japan. And I know for a fact the All Black fans in South Africa, the Ruckers, they will enjoy this episode.
Yes. Yeah, they love it.
I love you, All Blacks. They love you guys. Yeah.
Nah, thanks, boys. Appreciate it. You guys always bring in the vibes, and it's good to see you guys doing your thing and whatnot. And I know you bring a lot of joy and laughs to everybody, especially, the rugby community. So thank you as well for your time and your efforts, and appreciate being on. Thank you.
And in regards to the wifey, Miriam, and all the kids, the girls behaving themselves. Huh?
Girls dad, man. Girls dad. That's it, bro.
Yeah.
That's it every day. Every day, brother.
Thanks, MLMCA. Guys, that's Lima Sapoaga. Sponganga. Ooh, Sopsy. IQ, the rugby man, eh? But it's good to catch up with Sopsy, man. Yours is what experience.
In 11:30 at night, he makes time for Behind the Ruck. So they've got no excuse.
They got no excuse.
Watching this episode.
Okay.
If he can make time 11:30 at night, we all can make time for Behind the Ruck.
They can do it too.
Yes.
Watch it in live and direct. But it's good to catch up with him. I haven't seen him in a long time. We've obviously played together at the time at the Wasp. I mean, his family as well, his wife Miriam and the kids. The youngs was like, no.
Tight knit.
Yes, tight knit. Yeah. They made foodies and what.
Did you make food?
Huh?
Naxie.
Let's go there. Okay.
And Lima, if you're watching the episode, the compliment you guys are throwing South Africa's way, I need us to put a seatbelt on, okay? They are chucking flowers at us to soften us.
Yes.
They want to make us weak.
100%.
We're not allowing
We're not allowed. Okay, and the South Africans, they will look for that kicking tea.
Yes.
We will look for that kicking tea.
Find it in France.
Okay. Yeah, good to catch up with him, mate. But but the most important, let's get to where? Ellis Park?
Emirates Airline Park.
Hey.
Come on, boyki.
Spell check. Okay.
Here we go.
Let's get to the fixtures quickly. Okay. First game, the big game. Okay. Springboks versus the All Blacks at Emirates Airline Park. Okay.
Nice.
At 5 o'clock. Okay.
Ooh, perfect.
And then straight after or later on, it's Argentina versus Australia at Buenos Aires. If I tell you the time, what time that is, don't fall asleep.
11 o'clock.
Okay,
Again,
it's
probably.
12 o'clock
12
at night.
o'clock. No,
12 o'clock at night, eh?
Guys, you got no respect for married people.
Yeah. Paisy, okay, let's get to the Springboks. Okay, there's a couple of changes. Let's talk about especially the most important changes, and that's at 10. First 5-8 and also at 15 with Willie Leroux obviously ready to play. We went with Apalila Fassi and also with Sasha Feinberg and Gomazulu. That's been obviously classed this past couple of weeks. Yeah.
Partners, just looking at the team, Fassi obviously well deserved after his performance in Perth. He was excellent, and I think Rassi knows that he needs to blood Fassi.
Yeah.
None bigger, none better.
He's been good, especially against Wales.
He's been brilliant. No,
Fassi
Airways has been fantastic, and this is just due reward for his form. And looking at the future, it absolutely makes sense.
Yeah,
the same with Shash. As
Shash.
His mates call him Shash.
Shash Feinberg. Yes.
So, just a
confidence is
continuation.
high. Obviously, the ball is rolling. Keep the ball rolling. Okay, he's young. Throw him into the deep sea. Let him swim.
And something the All Blacks hasn't seen, they haven't faced, they haven't had a player like him with the ability to carry the ball. So something different, and he's got 2 test matches behind him in the seat, in the booth, where he started test match rugby for the Springboks. So it makes a lot of sense. For me, the interesting part is more up front. Partner, the selections up front. Jasper Wiese coming straight back in after the naughty corner.
It's been 8 weeks. 8 weeks. So that's also the question. Obviously, we know what we get from Jasper Wiese's physicality, coming around the corner, denting them. But is he sharp enough? It's been a couple of weeks. That's the question. I mean, he's a professional athlete. He'll obviously be sharp enough. Yeah,
I think I don't want to say the lucky part, partner, but the way he plays, I don't think it's more sharpness. His body's going to be fresh, so which means he can go full tilt. Yeah, no holding back, no seat belts. If you come around the corner, pick someone and make sure that he gets out of the way.
100%. And the other two can still go.
He's got no excuses. That's why I think he's probably the one lucky player that doesn't need game time because of the way that he plays. Abrasive, physical, as a rhino.
Yes.
I'm coming at you.
Coming in hard.
Hear me.
Yeah.
And then the one that is concerning for me, partner.
Is it at the lock?
It's lock.
It's lock. Lock the key. There's a couple of changes
there. And
there.
I know we the two of us, we not very, I don't want to say knowledgeable in the engine room, but our spark plug, our spark plug is not all there.
It's not all there.
It's not all there.
So we had to move Peter Step obviously to number 4. We got the Ruan Norkia to number 5. Eben Etzebeti, Lezebeti. Don't know if he's going to be ready. There's still a chance. There's a 50-50 chance he might play. But yeah, and no locks on the bench. No locks on the bench. It's a lot of loose players, loosies everywhere.
Look, I don't think people always realize. People see Eben as this physical dominant force, but people don't see the intelligence, his work rate. He makes that maul tick. He stops mauls. His competing ability in the front of the line out. So if he's not ready to play, we'll definitely miss it.
Yeah, we want him to play actually.
We want him to play, to disrupt their ball.
If he does play, it's 4 caps. Most cap player,
100%,
especially in South Africa.
And their line-out set piece is not their strength. Cody Taylor in the last 4 games with the Palekies has struggled a little bit, so we can't put him under pressure set piece-wise and disrupt them. So even the fact that he might not play might be massive. We mustn't underestimate it.
No, 100%, yeah. And I mean, we do have experience everywhere as well. I mean, we got Damien Dialende and Jesse Creel, so it kind of gives Sasha a little bit of calmness and the Power Rangers on the wing, so it makes it easy for them as well. But it's going to be a massive challenge. Facing the All Blacks, you know what it is. Facing the Haka, it's intimidating. And I mean, guys like, BJ, Ruan Norkia, Sasha Feinberg, Ngomazula, it's going to be the first time.
First time. And partner, I know we've been really confident as South Africans of late, which we should be, being back-to-back world champions. But the last time we faced the All Blacks, and that's the reality, it was a 1-point difference. We shouldn't forget it. The All Blacks are still the All Blacks.
And they got a red card, so we played against 14.
You understand? It's still the All Blacks. They're still a proud nation. They still have a really good team. So it's going to be a massive clash.
They're desperate. They're desperate team.
Backs against the wall. They would fight.
Because someone left as well from the management as well. So there's a lot of... wil nie meer nie. Die reis het hom uitgevee. But let's not go there. But yeah, there's a lot of things that is not going for them at the moment. But I mean, if you got backs against the wall like South Africa, hulle weet nie wat hulle weet nie. If they've got the same mindset coming to these 2 weeks, okay, at Ellis Park,
they can throw that full kitchen sink at us, buddy.
Nothing to lose. Technically, they're underdogs, is they?
100%. And Ellis Park generally suits their way of play. It will be dry, there won't be rain, there won't be wind. So the ability to offload and contact, throw the longer passes, or try and run us off feet, because that's the only way I see them beating us. He's playing an expensive, old school All Black identity where they throw the ball around from everywhere.
So I can't wait. And Ruckus, okay, let's get 5 o'clock, let's get behind the Springboks. Okay, all the way.
Green and gold. Wear your old school jersey.
Yes, okay, and you will see we'll see us running around here. Okay,
say hello.
So come say hello. Okay, I know it's altitude. We retired, so the lugdruk is gonna. Okay.
If my lips are red, I'm struggling.
Give us water, please. Okay, fan frenzy. But exciting times, especially a fantastic weekend coming up.
No, excellent weekend. I do believe the box will be too strong for the All Blacks. I actually think the Wallabies might take the one in Buenos Aires.
Hey?
Yeah, I still believe in Joe Smith as a coach.
1 week in Perth and now he's the Wallabies. This guy.
Fair enough.
He likes Perth.
Rubber arm. So I think the Wallabies might be too strong in Buenos Aires. I think they're desperate to bounce back.
Yeah, I disagree, but okay.
It's fine.
Let's call it. Let's call it the spade. Okay, let's watch the game at 12 o'clock at night, okay? Okay, let's not go there. Ruckus, okay, cool. Happy days. Are we covered the Springboks? We're happy. We're fully behind the Springboks. Okay.
One of the best experts, the ex-All Black, in to talk about this game. We couldn't have given the Ruckus more. What they should do now is obviously like share, and subscribe.
Okay. Cheeky. Okay. It was cheeky. Like, share, and subscribe at all times. Okay, guys. Behind the Ruck is obviously supported by Super Sport Bet. Okay, guys, go check it out. I spoke to you guys. Okay, the official betting sponsor of the Carling Curry Cup. Go check. There's discounts for you. There's this flight.
There's a plane.
There's a lot of
little plane. Play the plane. Download their app, Supersport Bet app, download it.
Draafje, okay? And also our apparel sponsor, you know what it is. It's old school to the new school, okay? You know what it is, okay? And yeah, look after that. Keep it white, okay?
Okay,
Keep it
I
clean,
will.
okay? Keep it old school clean.
I will.
Yeah, and that's a chicken wrap, eh? All good things come to an end, okay?
Yes. But we'll see them next week,
Hey,
okay?
they know
see
what's
you
okay.
next week. Thursday, 6 o'clock, Behind the Ruck,
Don't miss it.
always,
Okay.
okay? So peanut butter and brood.
Smeer them, okay? Thanks a lot, guys. Hey, guys, I'm Juan de Jong.
I'm Rudy Page.
And the Ruck is clear. Ciao, ciao.
Check it. Ciao, ciao.